I'm Marianne Williamson, and I am a candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency in 2020. Well, the rules are defined by the Constitution of the United States, and I don't think of 21st century leadership as about rule-making. I think that we are evolving beyond this top-down paradigm, and we are moving into a space where the leader holds the space for the genius of others. A recognition that each and every one of us has unlimited God-given potential. And I believe public policy should align itself with whatever helps people to thrive, whatever helps people to be able to manifest all the genius that lies within us all, starting with children. This is why I have such a focus on children, wanting a Department of Children and Youth, because there is tremendous unrealized potential economically, socially, and in every other way that lies in the fact that we do not make sure that every American child receives the education that he or she might. And that is not just a little failure. We're talking about 13 million hungry children. We're talking about 100,000 homeless children. We're talking about millions of American children who go to school every day in classrooms where they don't even have the school supplies to teach a child to read. So this, to me, is a massive failure on the part of our government, of our society, and I want a massive realignment of investment in the direction of America's children. This, to me, is an example of female leadership. And what I will be talking about here later today is that the 20th century, at least for us as American women, was so much about getting power that we didn't have yet. And I believe in the 21st century, we need a shift. Not that all the power we should have, we have yet, but we have enough that we need to be having a larger conversation about what we're going to do with all this power now that we have it. And one of the reasons I like the whole redefining and the rules is because that's exactly where my head is at. Recreate, repair, regenerate, renew, rebirth. This is what the female does, is to give birth to the new. You know, we have so much language and so much thought around killing the germ, killing the enemy, and we end up killing the earth. We end up, it's so much the destroyer. And I believe that as women, we can bring forth the aspect of the creator. We give birth, and we need to give birth to a new society, because the old one is unsustainable, it is weary, and some very precious things are eroding on our watch. First thing I think we need to look at, of course, is passing the ERA. We need to have pay equity, pay parity. I mean, this is absurd that women would make less money. But I also believe that we should have far more of a child-centric society. And a more child-centric society is an important way that we empower women. A woman should not be feeling that she is having to make a choice. And so there is so much more we can do. Not even just preschool, you know, even starting before preschool. We have a relatively high maternal mortality rate in this country. So everything that has to do with that which would serve nutritionally, culturally, you know, we now know that 90% of the brain is developed before the age of 5 and 80% before the age of 3. So I believe that a far greater focus on children is one of the main ways that we do empower the American woman, and of course the family leave for both women and for men. And there are all kinds of ways that we can incentivize corporations to have more in terms of childcare at their businesses, more in terms of schools. There's so many things that can happen. For instance, let's say the child gets out of school at 3. But there's so many wonderful cultural, artistic after-school events that could be happening in the building where mom works. These kinds of things, and they are easy enough to incentivize. It's just that we are currently guided by market principles, which of itself, I'm not saying market principles don't have a role, but there's a virulent strain of market principle that has only to do with short-term economic gain for stockholders that is now so dominant within our public policy. And this, by definition, gives short shrift to children, and it gives short shrift to older people, because neither one can serve. We need to completely repudiate that paradigm and move from an economic to a humanitarian bottom line. This is, to me, what women It's our turn now to completely overturn that. This country should not be run like a business. This country should be run like a family. And I believe that it's women who should be insisting on that. I have learned in my own career that misogyny runs deeper than I knew. And it also runs deep in a lot of women. A lot of times, even those who think of themselves as ardent feminists, they want to support women, but really if they look deeply, it's women that they like. And so we have more to rout out, not just of our public policy, but also in terms of our consciousness than I think we might realize. There's a lot to be done on the inner planes as well as the external planes, and I'm not sure it's all going to get done in 10 years, but hey, I'm down for the goal. That every girl and every woman feels who we are is just fine. What we want to say is just fine. What we feel is just fine. You know, I read somewhere that for a woman to feel confident to share her opinion, she has to feel sure of 80% of her facts. And for a man to feel confident to share his opinion, he has to feel 20% sure of his facts. Because there's so much societal permission. Oh, you handsome thing, what do you think? Whereas there's not as much societal permission for a woman, what do you feel? And of course we all think and we all feel. But I do feel that there's a thinking function that's a little bit the major and the feeling function the minor within men. And women, in a way, there's a feeling function is the major. And we are made to feel embarrassed about that, like it's not good enough. And the world, if anything, is in such need of repair because there's not enough empathy, because there's not enough care for life, for children, for the earth. There's not enough tenderness, there's not enough kindness. Not enough empathy, there's not enough respect. We shouldn't apologize for the fact that we think that's more important than anything. I would love to see an America in which every public policy was judged according to how much it served people, how much it served children, how much it serves the earth, how much it serves people. That's when things will begin to repair themselves.